Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are doing a spring equinox inspired set of nails. I really wanted to have this video up on my channel yesterday because here in the UK yesterday was our first day of spring. I do, however, think that the weather hasn't quite yet got the memo of that because it is still feeling very wintry here. It would be lovely to have a little bit of spring sunshine. But anyway, I really wanted to do a sort of going into spring equinox kind of vibe to this set of nails. I really wanted to go for that little bit of a mystical and celestial vibe to the set of nails because I really do, I love that look, and I was really pleased with how this design turned out, so I hope you all enjoy watching. Now I'm working on press-on nails or display tips, whatever you would prefer to call them, in this video. So I haven't had to do any natural nail prep. Of course, if you was working on yourself or a client, you would need to do all your natural nail prep first of all and come in with a base coat. I've jumped to straight applying my gel polish colour, and the colour I've gone for the base in this set of nails is the beautiful Tailormade. This is from Kiki London and it is a very strongly, highly pigmented nude color. It's kind of more on the sort of beigey brown side of the nudes, but I really love it. I feel as though it complements a lot of skin tones really nicely. It's very full coverage as well, so it's great if you're wanting to kind of do any designs basically, or where you want to cover up that natural nail bed. So I've applied 2 thin coats of this colour, curing each coat in my LED lamp for 30 seconds. And how gorgeous does it look once you have come in and applied that second coat. Now for the base design, for the base nail art in this set, I want to use some blooming gel. So I'm going to take the Kiki London blooming gel and I'm going to apply a thin coat of this to all of the nail. And we're kind of going to do a bit of a marble design, but it's got a little bit of like a watercolor effect to it. We're not going to be covering up the entire nail. Basically I wanted to have a background to my stamping and I wanted those to be marbled. So I've applied my blooming gel. You leave your blooming gel uncured, so you don't pop this into cure until you've finished creating your design with it. And then I've taken 3 gorgeous spring shades from Kiki London. So we have Peach Me, which is this gorgeous coral peach color, and then we've got Meadow Green, which is a beautiful green, and I love that it's kind of got a bit of a grey undertone to it and it looks a little bit muted. And then we've got the beautiful Buttercup for our yellow, and I felt as though these 3 colours worked really nicely together, especially over that beigey brown base. Then to apply these to the nail, I'm actually going to use the Kiki London round nail art brush. So it's very similar to how you would do a marble, but a lot of the time when I do a marble, I actually create the marble on my palette and then lay it down into the wet blooming gel. With this design, what I'm going to do is take my round nail art brush and I'm just going to pick up each of those colours and dot it into that uncured blooming gel. When you see my brush going out of shot, that's just because I'm wiping it off on an alcohol wipe after I pick up each colour, just to not contaminate each of the colours. Then I'm going to take my dotting tool and I'm literally going to just swirl these colours together. I definitely don't want a defined marble look. I want a very soft, wishy-washy watercolor effect, if that makes sense. After I finished marbling it with my dotting tool, I am going to put that aside. I'm not going to put it into cure just yet because I want the blooming gel to work its magic a little bit more and let that blooming gel bloom out the design a little bit more. It's going to soften all of the edges. I will show you guys it before I pop it into cure, but you can kind of see it there now. The edges are softening, the colors are marbling together a lot more, and they're creating that bloomed effect, which looks a lot softer. If you pop it into cure straight away, it will have that more defined look. If you leave it to bloom for a little bit longer, then it will have that more watercolor effect look, which was what I was going for. So here you can see the color is dispersed a lot more, especially around the edges, and it looks a lot more softer. So now that I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. So whilst I'm working on the next nail, I'm basically letting that previous nail bloom a little bit more. And what you will also notice is I'm not doing the patterns in the same, I'm not doing the marble of the gel polish in the same area. I'm switching it up a little bit. I'm kind of keeping it so it's slightly off the center, but this is just because I didn't want all of the nails to look exactly the same. I kind of wanted it to look like it flowed across the nail a little bit. So again, we've done that third nail, so you can see the second nail has bloomed a lot more. And what I love about these designs is any kind of marble design, it never looks the same as the previous one. In some, you'll see a little bit more of one color compared to the previous nail, and I really like that effect. So working on the last nail, we're going to do exactly the same. Pick up our colors of gel polish, dot them down into that wet blooming gel, and then swirl them together. You can dot your gel polish colors down just using your bottle brush if you prefer, but I wanted to have a lot more control over how much gel polish I was applying to the nail, especially when you're working on small nail beds or short nails. When you're just applying your blooming gel straight directly with your bottle brush, you can end up applying a little bit too much. With doing it with the round nail art brush, you've just got a lot more control how much product you've got going on to the nail. So this is what the nails look like once I'd cured all of them, and over the top of this I want to do my stamping. So I have the beautiful Celestrial plate from Miss Lucy UK. I do have discount codes for both Kiki London and Miss Lucy, so if you can't see them on screen, I will also leave them in the description box below. But this particular stamping plate is one of my absolute favorites from Miss Lucy. I think it's one of the first ones I bought, and I absolutely love it. For this particular design, I really wanted to use some of those leafy patterns because I think they work really, really well for spring nails, but then they've got that celestial vibe to them, which I thought worked beautifully for the whole spring equinox vibe. So now let's do some stamping. So I'm applying a generous amount of this beautiful kind of like champagne gold stamping polish, scraping off the excess, and then with a quick but gentle flick of the wrist, just rocking that stamper over the image, and as you can see, it's picked up beautifully. Then I'm just taking a lint roller to remove that excess, and then with these clear jelly style stampers, you're able to easily look through your stamper, line up your image, and then once you're happy with where it's placed on the nail, I like to just press down, give my stamper a little rock or a little wriggle, and then pull off, and as you can see, that's stamped down beautifully. One of the most important things before you move on to your next stamped design is to make sure you give your plate a really good clean to remove all of that previous stamping polish. Stamping polish dries really, really quickly, and when you've scraped the excess, there is a chance that some of that stamping polish has gone in to the next image you're going to use and then dried. So then if you come straight over to do your next image and applied fresh stamping polish, it wouldn't pick up as nicely if you've still got any of that previous dried stamping polish on your plate. So it's very important that you give it a good clean. I like to personally use acetone to clean off my plate. So once again, you'll see me doing that here. I'm just giving it a really good quick wipe all over to make sure I've entirely removed all of that stamping polish. Because it is stamping polish and not a product that needs to be cured, it does wipe away really quickly. I had a little bit extra here, so I was just making sure I went over and give it a good wipe. So again, I like to personally apply a generous amount of stamping polish. I probably apply more than you need to, but that's just personal preference. Like I always say, a quick flick of the wrist with your stamper. You really don't need to be applying pressure or pressing down, in my opinion. Just a light flick across that image picks it up beautifully, and then just take a few seconds, take your time to get your image in place, and then once you are happy with where you're going to place it down, you're able to press it down. I'm really sorry at this point, I didn't realize how much I was knocking my camera when I was cleaning the stamping plate. I need to have a play around with how I have my camera set up, as I recently changed it, but it doesn't work great for when I'm doing things like scrubbing a stamping plate because it ends up knocking the camera. So we're going to stamp down this final image, and I really loved how these 4 images looked. I used a different image on each nail, as you see, and I really love how well the 4 images work together, but how beautifully each individual design is. So now that we have finished the stamping, we do need to come in and top coat. So to top coat today, I'm going to use the Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat, and the reason I opted for the rubber top coat was for 2 reasons. When you've done any kind of marbling or blooming gel design, design on the nail. The surface of the nail can be a little bit uneven, and where the rubber top coat is ever so slightly thicker than a regular top coat, this will smooth any unevenness out and leave you with a super smooth finish. The second reason why I wanted to use the rubber top coat is because I want to apply crystals to the two middle nails, and my favorite way to apply crystals is to set them down in the rubber top coat. So on those two nails, I'm going to leave my top coat wet, so I'm not going to pop these into cure. Once I've finished applying it, I'm going to take those middle two nails and apply some really pretty crystals. Again, I feel as though crystals really help push out the whole spring equinox vibe. Now, I am not a fan, no, I am a fan of crystals. I'm not a fan of applying crystals because I never know what kind of design to do or what kind of pattern to do, and I feel as though you need to have quite a big selection of crystals to create some of the gorgeous crystal placements that you see online. And personally, I don't have that many when it comes to crystals. It's definitely something I need to add more of to my kit. I mainly have circular ones in different colors and sizes. I don't have many shapes and things like that. So for this particular design, I just picked out 4 colors that I felt worked really well with this design. So we've got some gold ones, some opal ones, some lilacs and some pinks, and these are from all different places. I think the gold and the lilacs are actually Swarovski crystals that I picked up from Scatter Crystals. The opal ones are from CJP, and the pink ones are from Kiki London. And all I'm literally doing is I wanted to go for that bit of junk look. I don't know if you've seen it, but the whole junk nail vibe. So I wanted to go for a bit of that kind of style. So I'm literally picking up different sizes, different colors, and simply placing them down into that uncured top coat just around the cuticle area. I wasn't 100% happy how the crystal placement on these two nails turned out. This one was a little bit bigger than the next nail. I do love how overall it worked in the set of nails, but I wish I could just do crystal placement a little bit better. It's definitely something I need to practice more. Like, I think when it comes to applying crystals, I'm really happy with my technique. When I do wear crystals on my own nails, I apply them the same way that we're applying here, and I love that they stay on, they don't budge, they don't knock off or anything like that. They stay on until I want to remove them. So I feel as though I've got the application of crystals down. It's just the placement I need to work on. So once I was happy with how I got those crystals placed on the previous nail, I've popped that into cure for 60 seconds and we're going to work on this nail. And we're doing pretty much the same, just in the opposite side of that cuticle area and coming up the side. But I don't apply as many crystals to this nail because I didn't want to cover up any of that stamped image. So I'm just placing them down and nudging them around. Like I said, same as before, using a mix of larger and smaller ones kind of to create that messy junk effect. And they added something to the design. I just wasn't 100% happy of how I'd placed them. So this is what the finished result looked like. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you are in the UK, happy spring. I hope that soon we get some lovely weather. If you're not in the UK, let me know what season you are currently in. I always find it really, really fun when I talk to someone who's, say, in America or Australia, and it's a completely different season to what we have here. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know how you are doing in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. Lots of love, take care, have a wonderful day, bye bye.